Large
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this finally Friday, October 3rd. 1:08 in the afternoon. Temperatures outside in the low to mid 80s. This is October. Yeah, October 3rd. Yeah. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, it feels more like, June than it does October. Again, we should be used to this. It's been like this for a full week now.
It's quite unusual football weather.
Yeah, right.
But, we got a bit of a breeze out there today. Got a lot of combines rolling. We're seeing moisture in soybeans 9.5%, 10% pretty easily.
Nice. Okay. And
that, yes and no,
Yeah.
because that shrinks the bean, so that affects your bushels.
Right. And yesterday, much better than today in terms of the light winds. Again,
Yeah.
Today with the stronger winds, you got to worry about, those combine
Yeah,
fires.
we still have some combine fires. Interestingly enough, Warner, South Dakota yesterday had a beet pulp fire at a dairy. So what happens there is you get beet pulp. It's kind of like manure. When you pile stuff like that, it gets hot, and in hot weather, it gets hotter, and so it actually can combust, and because you've got product that's fermenting.
Right.
I've seen manure piles catch fire, so this was not necessarily anything surprising, but it did wreck some foodstuffs for them. So that's unfortunate.
Wow. Well, the good news is we're going to get rid of this hot weather as we head into the latter part of the weekend. In terms of short term, though, we still have to deal with today and tomorrow for the unseasonably warm weather. We're looking at temperatures today making it up into the upper 80s. Some spots will touch 90. It is on the breezy side with those south-southeast winds gusting up to and a little bit over 25 miles an hour. Then tonight we'll have clear skies, unseasonably warm, low to mid 60s with a south wind 10 to 25. And then Saturday we'll start off with sunshine, but then see increasing clouds as we head late in the day. So we'll call it partly cloudy overall. South 10 to 20 in terms of the winds, and highs again in the upper 80s. And then we'll see a cold front come through the area on Sunday. It looks like early in the day, probably morning hours, as an area of low pressure scoots by. That will trigger off a few isolated showers or thunder showers. If you're looking for any widespread rain, not going to happen here in the FM area. A better chance just out to our west. In fact, some heavier rainfall in a corridor from about Bismarck to Jamestown up through the Devil's Lake Basin, Minot area, and into the extreme northeastern part of the state. I think Grand Forks will get a little bit more. The further north you go, the more rainfall you're going to see. But from the FM area, south to Wahpeton, east into Lakes Country, we're not going to see much at all out of this on Sunday. We'll see falling temperatures with windy conditions on Sunday into the 50s. And then all next week looks dry with temps generally in the 60s most of next week. So we could use the moisture. I know it's, with harvest, we really don't want it's not opportune time to get the rainfall. And for most of us, we're not going to see a whole lot. But again, the further north you go or northwest of the FM area, that's where you'll start to see our rain chances increase as we head into Sunday. And then all next week looks dry before we undergo a pattern change after it looks like the 10th of the month. So the first part, so our new LRC cycle starts next week, and it's going to start off on a dry note for about 5 to 7 days. So the first part of that LRC cycle, the very first part, is going to be on a dry note. And then it looks like we do start to see something changing here in the upper levels of the atmosphere after about the 10th of the month. That's when we should start to see a little more active weather pattern throughout much of the northern and central plains. We're still getting some, and our models won't let go of this, but trying to push out a snow event somewhere between here and down to Nebraska after about the 15th of the month. So we'll see how that pans out. 2 weeks out, our models are not very accurate. So that's why we need this new LRC cycle to set up, and then we can time out those storms much, much better as we head throughout the rest of the fall and into the winter months. So we'll see how October and November pan out, but right now it's going to start out on the quiet side.
And, right now that's not necessarily a bad thing if it starts out a little bit quiet. I know that there's some folks that are hoping for rain, just not a lot, but
Right.
if let's say we got a half to an inch of rain, they'd be okay with that because they could take a break. There's a lot going on. I had a conversation with a farmer in Illinois this morning. He mentioned that for them, their moisture on their soybeans is really low. They're finding that they are combining in the morning to get better moisture on it so the beans aren't so dry and having damage to them, like this cracks their hulls and so forth. And so they're then switching and combining corn in the afternoon.
Okay.
I don't know that we've had a lot of corn taken off yet. If you're combining corn, drop us a message. That would be great. You can, again, send emails, ag@flagfamily.com. You can send them to weather@flagfamily.com, and you can just simply call 701-293-9000. We'd be happy to hear from you. So, yeah, I'd be curious. And if you want to send pictures from the cab,
Right.
we'll take them. We'll put them on our Facebook and YouTube live streams, and people watch those every day, and they also watch us on Acres TV.
And most of the corn should be starting, later next week?
Oh, it might be a little bit longer for some, but it's
Yeah.
moving fairly quickly.
Okay.
I had a great question, a great conversation with a listener yesterday. We were talking about white mold. So, and his questions were, well, everybody should go get their crop before mold sets in. Okay, we already had it. So when we have green stems like soybeans, dry beans, sunflowers, canola, we can get mold on those leaves. When you have tight planted rows, you don't have a lot of room for wind to blow through there and dry them out. So you can actually get mold development. It's called white mold. It's a fungus, and it grows on the leaves. Then as that, if you aren't able to use a fungicide, right, and you got to look for something that's either a protectant or a systemic to move through the plant, protect new growth or protect current plant growth.
Okay.
So you can use fungicides in season. If you don't do that, if you don't notice it, if it doesn't develop, etc., you have the opportunity then later in the year to plan with your seed for more white mold resistant tolerance, because the spores, the sclerosias, will fall into the soil and they'll just wait there for next year. So it's one of those deals. If you have white mold, you can have white mold for a long time, but you have to remember to take care of it in crop, space out your rotations. You can change your spacing on your plants so that you have wider rows to allow that wind to blow through. Here's the downside. Then you have plants like water hemp as a weed that then get sunlight, and any opportunity they get sunlight, they will pop right through that canopy and compete with your crop. So do you want to worry about disease, or do you want to worry about weeds? You kind of have to pick your poison sometimes. And so we do, white mold is fairly common. It's similar to the fact that we get fusarium head blight in small grains. So it's already here.
Right.
That's not a problem. That's not really a surprise that it's here. Interestingly enough, we didn't even talk about this earlier in the week. There is, I think it was on my list. I mean, I'm already working on next week, so I better double check. I think this might be for next week. There is a seed. It's called Interplant. And Interplant actually has a natural genetic marker in it that kind of lights up a different color on the leaves when it detects disease. And so Interplant the plant can tell you when it detects disease.
Wow.
So that's some developing technology. I don't have the actual story in front of me at the moment because, again, I was thinking ahead about this for the next few weeks. But yeah, Interplant literally will respond back to you and tell you when there's a problem in your field.
Interesting.
We're looking at more developments.
Yeah,
all
you
the
got to
time.
love it. That's good.
Had a great Twitter space this morning where we talked about AI in farming and the different ways that we can do that. Some of the things we don't necessarily think about are in our finances. Now, let's be careful. We have Chris Sherman who reminds us all the time that your cybersecurity is very, very important. And what you can do is there are things that you can upload. So let's say you use Grok and you want to upload into Grok like 5 years of financials. Let's not give bank statement numbers. Let's not, you can do like your spreadsheets, right? That just give dollars and cents, and you can ask it to look for trend lines for you. And that's one way that AI can be of a good assistant for you. So, and that doesn't just apply to farms. That can apply to our own home finances. Maybe we need to think about better budgeting. So AI is going to do some things we don't even realize. It's very much in its infancy, I think.
It's same with weather.
Yes.
There's experimental models out now, AI experimental models, and they've proven to be decent, but not as good as I think what was originally anticipated. But again, that's going to improve too over the next 10 years. I've had a lot of people ask me, is AI going to replace the human factor when it comes to forecasting weather? I said, no, that won't happen. But it definitely gives us another tool in our tool belt for more accurate forecasts. Hopefully, right? Not yet, but I can see that 10 years down the road, that AI will be a big help.
Oh, I think in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
One of our listeners, Chad, he said that there was in fact corn coming off by Hillsboro yesterday. So, there's a lot of variability. I had a call from Central North Dakota 2 nights ago saying that they still have some real green soybeans out there because they went with a longer day length. So it can really vary field by field.
Okay.
But Chad's actually in a beet lifter. I can see that they are loading sugar beets.
I was supposed to go with Chad. He invited me out to go.
This is on you.
I know, no, I know. And Chad, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I know I got back to you, and then we kind of lost touch there for a little bit. But that was one of the things I wanted to do was ride along with Chad and see how the beet harvest actually worked. So, and he said is he still?
They're lifting beets now.
Are they still lifting beets?
Mm-hmm. This picture just came from him right now.
Chad, I'll shoot you a message. Maybe hook up over the weekend or something.
Well, speaking of shooting messages, looks like I got to go look for our guest. She has.
I don't see her.
Yep, I haven't seen her yet, so I'll go look. I'll see where I can find her.
All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to a glorious last day of great weather in October for Weather and Ag in Focus.
One more day.
One more day.
One more day tomorrow.
They're winding down.
Yes,
quickly. I, like probably many others, are considering the fact that, wow, I got to start putting like jeans back on because this wearing shorts has been lasting several months.
It's been a nice break.
I have crop consultant friends that he's still going to go till sometime in December. That doesn't bother him in the least. He's not into pants.
Right.
Literally.
Well, let's
literally or
clarify
anything
that.
else.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's just not a thing for him. So yes, but for those who are thinking about when you get further into the October season, and especially for those folks that are hunting, if you want to make sure you have unscented cleaner that's used for your hunting clothes, you can head over to the new Coral Laundromat. Again, they are at 3620 Veterans Boulevard, because you can also check them out, by the way, on Facebook and corallaundromat.com, because they've got those unscented cleaners that helps you get ready when you're out there for opening a deer season, which, considering how nice it is, it's hard to say that opening a deer season is going to be here in like roughly a month. I didn't put in for a tag this year, so I can't even give you the exact dates for deer season, but it's going to be here sooner than we expect. So plan for that. Okay. Also, as we've mentioned, you can anytime go ahead and give us a call on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. We are waiting to see if we're going to be able to get our guest today, and if we don't, that's all right. I still have plenty of things that we can talk about. One thing is this: fall brings all sorts of pumpkin spice flavors. Maybe you've been getting muffins and bagels. I get a tea that has a pumpkin spice. But here's one you maybe weren't expecting: the limited edition seasonal flavor from Laughing Cow, pumpkin spice cheese. Not cream cheese. The little wedges that you buy, pumpkin spice flavored.
Addison, what do you think of that?
There has never been a time in my life where I've been eating any kind of cheese. There is not any scenario where there could be cheese in my mouth and I'm like, oh, if only it was pumpkin spice flavored.
Well, would you drink pumpkin spice? Is that just not your flavor, or?
I mean, like a coffee every now and then, it's fine, but like as a cheese?
I'd try it. That sounds interesting.
I think you're weird.
Well, you're not. Get in line, buddy. Get in line.
Oh, I am in line.
Yeah.
This one's a little unusual. And when you think of Laughing Cow, it's not like you think of a great block of Parmesan or a nice soft artisan mozzarella. This is a little different. It's more like some Velveeta with pumpkin spice in it. And I had a morning host this morning say, well, there are folks that melt cheddar cheese on their apple pie, which also I would like to declare incredibly wrong. Mostly, I only ever hear that out of the state of Illinois. What is wrong down there?
What is wrong with down there?
Who hurt you that you need to put cheddar cheese on your apple pie?
It's not out of the Chicago area. I can tell you that.
Good.
It's got to be down the south.
It's the same exact logic again. If there's never been a time where I've been eating an apple and I'm like, oh, if only it had cheese on it.
Maybe if I had an apple slice, so we are so far off track today. There is a recipe where you take a ginger snap, lay a small slice of brie.
I'm scared where this is going.
And then you put a little bit of apple on that, or you put the apple, then the brie, whatever, and then you warm that slightly so it's a little melty. It's like a salty cheese, sweet apple flavor. So I could kind of see it. The pumpkin's throwing me for a loop.
I thought the pumpkin spice people had to be stopped, but it's clearly the cheese people that have gone too far.
We are looking for ways to get our calcium in any way, shape, or form from the look of it.
My view of the world has changed.
The blank look on Addison's face. He's fairly horrified.
I'm trying to figure out the flavor in my mouth. It's not good.
I am headed to the grocery store this afternoon. If in fact I find pumpkin spice, limited edition, special delivery, Laughing Cow cheese,
please buy some.
I will bring some in next week. I'm here on Tuesday.
Yay.
Addison's like, I'm taking Tuesday off.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sick that day.
You don't have to be sick. You can still be here, but I bet that door to that engineering studio is locked. We're never getting in there. It's okay. It's a soft cheese. I'll shove it under the door for you on a piece of paper.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Okay, it'll get better from there. Right. Okay, next thing up for fun. Friday should be fun. Luke Bryan has a farm tour concert series for raising awareness for farms, but also The funding from that brings farms to rural brings the concert to rural communities around the U.S. It's a bit of an economic development, right? All these people come in, you get the chance to spend money in your local community, but also this collaboration has donated more than 10 million meals to Feeding America with plans to expand further. So it's called the Farm Tour. These stops will have designated locations and parking lots for fans to bring non-perishable food items, and then you're eligible to win prizes, upgrades to VIP tickets, and more. Bayer Crop Science has been a major sponsor of this. They want to use this effort to continue to give back and so much more to the farming communities. And this is actually the 10th anniversary of Luke Bryan's partnership with Bayer. He's also done some work with Case IH. They were at, was it 2 years ago, at Farm Progress in Iowa, and he had a concert down there at the farm show. So that also required you to bring some non-perishable food items.
It's a good idea, though.
It's a great idea.
Good cause.
Why not continue to do that?
Absolutely.
And again, Feeding America is a great place to go with it.
Right.
Well, as we look to see what can happen for our guest today, if not, we got lots of things we can always talk about. That's never a fear.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we will return after bottom of the hour news and see where things lead from here. looking forward to any phone calls with questions you've got today. Go ahead and send them to us on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. And for those who are watching on those live streams, little photo credit to our listener, Chad. He sent a photo of sugar beet harvest. So there you go. That is he looks like he's in the lifter, popping beets right out of the ground. They're lifting beets, and they are headed into essentially it's like a grain cart, but it's a cart for sugar beets that's going to ferry them to the end of the field. Then they go into the trucks and head on out. And we know that not everybody's harvesting with warm weather like this. American Crystal and Mindak down in Wahpeton are only taking X amount of sugar beets per day to keep the factory going. They don't want to be stockpiling. It's just too warm weather. Yeah.
Yeah. So once next week we get these temperatures in the 50s, well, 60s, I should say, during the day, and help. 30s and 40s at night. That should help quite a bit.
It will help. It will cool things off. Now, you mentioned Tuesday night next week, chance of a real hard frost.
That's being kind of shunted off now into the Great Lakes.
Okay.
I think we'll see some patchy frost.
Okay.
But we're not going to see a widespread killing freezer frost.
Well, and this is not uncommon during sugar beet harvest. You don't want a killing frost for this respect, and that is as that topper goes across the field and removes the green foliage. So it looks like a big lawnmower essentially, and it's mowing off that green foliage. You don't want that very far ahead of your lifter, because then those beets the tops can freeze, and then the lifter comes along, picks them up, sends them to the factory, and now you have frozen beets. Just like with hot beets, they're breaking down and causing hot spots and so forth. And so we don't need either one of those items to be happening. Trying to ignore them as best we can.
Yeah, taking a look at that picture, he's Chad's they're filling that up pretty quick there, aren't they?
Oh, it doesn't take long.
Yep.
Some very active equipment going on in the fields right now. Also, throughout the summer months, there's a lot of time for our crop consultants to be giving advice, working in the field with their growers. An introduction here that the Minnesota Crop Production Retailers and Minnesota Certified Crop Advisor Board are introducing the Minnesota Certified Crop Advisor Award. This is a CCA award, which is what Certified Crop Advisor stands for. It's designed to recognize a top advisor who is innovative, delivers exceptional customer service, and is a leader in their field. Pun intended, if you're a leader in your field, by the way. To be considered as a CCA for this award, you must be certified in Minnesota. You need to spend the majority of your time advising growers or farm managers and operators on agronomic practices and can meet the standards of the program. And the deadline is fast. Excuse me. So you're going to want to get those in. If you're looking for the link so that you can nominate folks, you can send me an email, ag@flagfamily.com, and I will happy to give you the link for it. I like to see that folks are getting recognized for the good work that they do when it comes to advising their farmers. And it also really shows off the people who give superior service for their farmer customers when it comes to nutrient management, soil and water management, integrated pest, crop production, and so much more. Also, we did have a message from John, one of our listeners. He said something about an 8-hour radio program won't even begin to cover 1% of what's wrong with Illinois, besides the cheese on the pie.
John's not wrong, as he grew up in Illinois, too. I think he might be talking mostly politics as well, if I know John right. But he's not wrong. Yeah. That's.
I just want to know who to blame specifically. Who do you think was the first one? Who do you think was out there one day enjoying an apple pie and was like, cheese? Yeah. That's what's missing here.
This needs cheese.
I'm guessing there had to be a little alcohol involved with this decision.
I bet not. No. I really bet it wasn't.
Don't think so?
No.
I'm guessing somebody in Wisconsin.
See, that's just it. It's probably Wisconsin, and then it carried over.
See, there you go.
Silliness for all of them involved, but whatever, it happens.
It's like eating a hamburger and being like, you know what this needs? Peanut butter.
Okay, if we're this far off, I'm just curious. Apparently you're not the fan of the peanut butter on a burger, because I haven't ever done this, so I'm not sure what I should expect if I should dive in for it. I mean, I'm all for the beef, and I don't even mind peanut butter, but together?
Not good.
Okay.
No.
Important.
Not good.
Also, you will find it rather funny that I had my first peanut butter and jelly sandwich about 10 years ago. I'd never had one before.
What?
Never had one?
As a kid?
My mom didn't like them, so we never had them.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, so I did it live on Twitter. Because why wouldn't you?
It's an event.
I had about 4 different kinds where people said, strawberry jelly and Nutella. There was a Nutella and marshmallow cream. There was straight peanut butter and jelly. You needed grape jelly, apparently, and not a fan. And then there was also, you could do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but you had to grill it. And I tried all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say grilled PB&Js are really good. You don't have to like grill, just make it like you would a grilled cheese. But I mean, it's basically just a PB&J with toast. Those are really good too. Right.
It turned out better than I anticipated. How does that sound?
Sounds accurate for a PB&J. I'm hungry. Topic change.
No, because there's plenty of people who are out in a combine or a truck right now waiting in line, and they're also thinking, sort of hungry. Wonder if I can possibly find something to eat around here. Okay, so some of the other things that we haven't been able to talk about yet this week have to do with some smart farming technologies. We know that like irrigation and our targeted spray systems are doing a really great job of narrowing down how much product we're using out in the field. We're very precision these days. So what we have found as of late, and this is probably just the last 2 years, is we are using a See and Spray sprayer as well as what's the case version? Sense Apply. You're looking at reducing your herbicide use about 55%. That means we are no longer using the equivalent of 12,000 rail cars that would span 136 miles of herbicide. Interesting to note how much we've gotten so much better with that. And what we see coming next, there's probably going to be some more very revolutionary things that happen in tractors and so forth. It's going to continue to boost our yields because we're seeing that using precision technology, and North Dakota is the fastest adapting to this. We've boosted our yields by about $66,000 per 1,000 acres. Water savings, we're saving about $16,000 per 1,000 acres. So that's 5% of overall water, 5% less overall water used. We're 8% more efficient on our fertilizer and also 7% more efficient on our fuel because we're not doing overlaps and we're getting through the field in a much more effective manner. So look at that. All that saving money is going well, probably better than anybody anticipated.
Now, Bridgette, I know we talked about this the other day, and we were talking about how tariffs have affected the farmers and how Trump has, what exactly is he promising, quote unquote, promising the farmers to help ease the pain of the tariffs?
There was a tweet that we talked about, was that yesterday? That Trump basically said, hey, we're not going to leave the farmers hanging.
Well, you can say that, but what's his plan? Has there been anything released on that?
Oh, no.
Nothing.
No, we're too far ahead. Brooke Rollins was speaking last week, and she said that there should be a plan from USDA, or there could be a plan from USDA that would pay ranchers to hold back their heifers, which are their young cows, first calving cows, et cetera, which is a little bit like a CRP program on cattle. And ranchers immediately pushed back and said, no, don't do that, because that just creates inflation really in our system. But we don't need that to happen right now.
Okay.
So we will see if any of those choices can be made. But at this point, we just haven't seen, we've heard a lot of talk, but we haven't seen anything change. One of the guys in the newsroom today sent me a clip that was from the CBS News, and it was an interview with the Minnesota Farmers Union president he's in southern Minnesota. And Gary basically said, you know what, the slowdown of the government right now, the furloughing, holds up loan payments, paperwork, conservation payments, and a whole pile of things that we were anticipating, especially at this time of the season where prices aren't great. We don't have cash flow because we're harvesting. We're waiting to sell a crop. Right. And we've already got all this money laying out there as we try to, wait for payments to be made to us so we can pass that on. And I don't know that everybody realizes that impact it has on Main Street, which is going to be bigger than we expected.
Right.
Because if you as a farmer are not getting paid, if you are not getting those loan payments, et cetera, that you needed, that means you're not spending money with your implement dealer, your grocery store, donating to your church. All of those things get impacted as well.
It all trickles down.
It really does.
No doubt.
It does. Yeah, the headline that you wanted to talk about, the one about the satellites.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my details on it in my folder. I'll have to find that after we we do our last segment.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll look for that.
Okay.
So we'll try and find that, and then we'll recap what the weather looks like for this last part of the LRC cycle. And remember, Later next week, that's the start of the brand new LRC cycle. So we'll be talking a little bit about that as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. And temperatures outside right now, 86 degrees. And we're on our way up close to 90. Now, let's see. I believe the record today is 93. It is set back in 1922. We're not going to quite get there, but we won't be far from it with, again, temps topping out pretty close to 90 today. Unbelievable.
1922. I remember it well.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Well, then you're looking fantastic for your age. I'll say that. And then we're going to look at another day tomorrow in the upper 80s. And tomorrow we could set a record. The record tomorrow is 87. I think we'll be right around the 88 degree range or so. And then storm system could bring some stronger storms out to our west as we head into Saturday late in the day. Again, most of that activity focusing well to our west. And as that storm system and cold front press through Sunday morning, that's when we'll see our chance for showers and storms here in the FM area. We're not expecting a lot out of this. 1/10 of an inch or less, it looks like. Now, again, if the system somehow tracks a little bit further to the south and east, that could put us in a little bit more rain here in the FM area. But right now, it looks like the majority of the rain falling from about Jamestown, Bismarck, and northeast from there into the northeastern part of the state. Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to miss out on some of the more beneficial rains. And then most of next week looks dry with temps in the 60s. So a more seasonal week next week. We'll see a little wind as we head towards Wednesday and Thursday of next week. But other than that, it should be a pretty quiet week weather-wise.
Should be all right.
Yeah, good for harvest. That's good news there.
Thank you to one of our listeners, Hunter, down in Iowa. He's been listening, and he said, you guys know your talk about pie and cheese and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now I'm hungry. Yeah. You don't understand when you were in a tractor or a combine cab for long periods of time, you have nothing else to do but like the radio, the phone, eat. And so tractor snacks are real. You have to have them. You better pick good ones.
What's your weirdest snack that you've heard of when they're out in the combines? Anything stand out?
Oh, I think anything goes.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you got a set of silverware, you can eat whatever you can, because oftentimes you have auto steer. Hopefully you just have to keep one hand on the joystick to keep things moving along. It's better when folks bring meals out and you can stop, take 15, 30 minutes and have a meal at the end of the field. Nothing tastes better than a meal in the field after been working all day. Yeah. I have some friends that even bought like a little used fish house, and it's their chuck wagon.
Oh, wow.
Because it has air conditioning, and so you can pull it to the field, and everybody can get out of the dirt.
Nice.
And you can get, 6-7 people inside, and they can eat, and food can be, roasters and things can be plugged in. Food's warm. So the chuck wagon, the new version, is arriving in the field. All right, we did find that story about the satellites. All right, so here's what's going on. Earth Daily says it will soon leverage a new satellite constellation to beat the USDA yield forecast. They want to capture daily calibrated images of crops and then feed those through AI tools. They intend to provide daily, high-quality aerial data that agronomists, grain traders, commodity brokers, they can get a snapshot for a field. And without that, they get without ever having to go out and walk the field, and they can have all these images to look at. Because normally now, if we want to see a really good picture of a field, either we're flying a high quality drone or we're literally walking the field, riding four-wheelers, whatever the case might be.
What kind of pinpoint, like precise, what kind of quality of images are these satellites going to produce?
10 satellite constellation, fully operational by next growing season 2026. How good will it be? Well, it's purpose built for a very broad area that looks for 16 images. They call it, this is how they describe it, 16 imagers on each bus capturing 22 spectral bands at the same time each day. That's a fair amount of detail.
Okay.
That's how often it's going to be seen. We'll deliver AI-ready data that brings speed and accuracy to our EO analytics markets. The full constellation, again, will be operational by 2026, and then the robustness of the data will fully align after the cropping season. There will be 22 spectral bands. The yellow band, which is unique to Earth Daily, is valuable for looking for early signs of stress in the crop. They're going to begin the data capture, then transform it into those downstream analytics. Those technology pinpoints for farmers, when and where the attention is needed in the field, predicting crop health, providing actionable insight, and that way you don't have to always be walking your field. That's their plan and their reasoning for why you would use it. So nobody named a price. on the new satellite constellation structure.
Yeah.
And
that can't be cheap.
I'm sure it's not. USDA estimates yield every single year. And every single year, farmers are like, no, that's wrong. This could actually make it more accurate. Now, it's not being done by USDA. This would be private data that could then be sold to them for accuracy and making the average yield reports, et cetera.
Wow, interesting. That would be a big difference, like you said, with traders and commodities and
very
stuff
likely.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It will be interesting to watch how some of these things develop. There's a lot of startups that get rolling, and I'm not saying that they always make it to fruition.
Right.
Coming up here in October, I think it's a day you're gone. Unfortunately, I have Walt Duflock who's joining us, and one of the best podcasts I've listened to in a long time was on Damian Mason's The Business of Agriculture podcast, and he and another fellow were talking about why tech companies fail in ag. And really one of the bottom lines is they decide there's a problem. They don't ask anybody in ag if there really is a problem, but they decide there's a problem and then try to build a solution to it. So if you're building something that isn't necessarily needed, who's going to buy?
Right.
So it'll be interesting to talk to Walt. He hosts a variety of ag tech events across the U.S. every year.
And that's what, a couple weeks?
That'll be a couple weeks. Is that Monday is the 16th? I'm not
13th.
doing 13th.
Yep.
Okay, not doing math here. So let's say the 13th.
Friday, you don't have to.
There's some things going on between now and then. So we'll get through them. They'll be just fine. But yes, it's always fun to see the different guests that we get. Unfortunately, our guest, Taylynd, couldn't join us today. The rodeo she's at ran late, and she is Miss Red River Valley Fair. She does raise cattle, and she did start a nonprofit for ag literacy. So
that's awesome.
The email that I've exchanged with her, we're going to rebook her for another time here in October, so we get a chance to visit with her. And yesterday's guest was sick and couldn't hardly talk. It happens, and I've already rebooked her for later in the month as well.
Good deal.
See, we never give up on these people. We always bring them back.
That's good. And what do we have coming up next week? If we
I'll
have
look.
time.
Yeah, I can look. And that schedule. Okay, so next week, U.S. Commodities will join us. We'll also we have our Assistant Ag Director, John Caldor, coming in. We have Alan Brecka. He's a farmer in Alberta. He restored one of the big bud tractors. That's very cool. Yeah, we're going to talk to him.
Cool.
I have a couple more tentative folks that I just need them to confirm before we can make it.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to just a variety of things.
Good deal. Good deal. And we are also, I'm working on one of the professors at my alma mater, Northern Illinois University. They just did a huge hail study. They just published papers on this and how this is going to help produce shingles, siding, whatnot, that is going to help the insurance industry in terms of hopefully cutting costs to the consumer.
Oh, hail.
So, exactly. So we're working on getting him in later this month as well.
Oh, quick. Weirdest cab snack? I was just told smoked oysters in a can. That's not weird. I'll eat those.
Yeah. Well, we hope everybody has a great weekend. For Bridgette and myself, go out and have yourself a good one. But don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show, that's coming up next.